Overcast and 53 degrees here in New Jersey. Jets and Texans set to kick off, and here's Lisa Salter.
Hey, Mike. Well, the Jets offense has scored just one touchdown in their last 34 possessions. And heading into Week 5, Mark Sanchez had the lowest pass completion percentage of any quarterback in the league at just over 49%. But despite Tim Tebow waiting in the wings, Rex Ryan says Sanchez is his quarterback. I asked Ryan what he said to Sanchez personally so that he doesn't feel like he has to keep looking over his shoulder. And he said, all Mark has to do is look at me. It doesn't matter what anyone else thinks. Still, Sanchez knows that Tebow is there, and the Texans know that Tebow is there. They have prepared, maybe even over-prepared to see him tonight. Wade Phillips told us, we don't know how much we're going to see of him, but we probably spend about 30 to 40% of the time preparing for him. And like you said, Mike, Tim Tebow has only played 12% of the time for the Jets. That's the Tebow factor.
People asking, we'll just wait and see how it plays out. Jets won the toss, defer the option in the second half. Schaub and the Texans offense will get it first. Nick Folk to kick it off for the Jets. And off we go from MetLife Stadium. Brendan Holiday, former NCAA sprint champion, runs up to get it just outside the goal line. And Holiday be brought down to 15, well covered by the Jets and Lex Hilliard, who was just signed this week. John, let's look at this Houston offense, the people with Matt Schaub. They've been around for a while, too.
Yeah, and they're balanced. They can run the football as good as anyone in this league, and they can really throw it. Continuity is the key word. Look in that huddle. Myers, the center. Daniels, Schaub. They've been in this offense, Andre Johnson and Walter, a long time. They're able to make adjustments better than most teams.
Opening drive starts from the 15, and Schaub to work to one of those players who's been around for a while. 10-year man out of Eastern Michigan, Kevin Walter, gain of about 8. And Matt Schaub took a vicious hit a couple of weeks ago, has come back, hasn't missed any time but a snap or two in that game against Denver. Always high in the completion percentage. 2 out of every 3 passes complete. Very few mistakes. Just the 1 interception in his first 125 attempts this year. Going on a quick count again, and it's play action, which they're so good at. And the tight end Owen Daniels has a lot of room. First down to the 38-yard line. LaRon Landry a tackle.
That's back-to-back quick counts. Gary Kubiak is getting after the Jets with tempo. Right here is screen pass. Watch Owen Daniels slide across the formation. After the fake to Foster, it's a throwback screen, well executed. And Owen Daniels is the forgotten man, Mike. He led this Texan team in receptions last year. He can still get it done.
Leads him already this year. That was his 20th catch of the season. From the 38, the end will come around, get it in the hands of the rookie Keyshawn Martin. Out of Michigan State, Martin into Jet territory. Across midfield for a first down. John, they have added 2 receivers from the Big Ten. Devere Posey out of Ohio State and Keyshawn Martin, the former Spartan.
Bunch formation. They fake the ball to Foster. Flow goes with Foster, and here comes Keyshawn Martin on an end around. A throwback screen and an end around by Gary Kubiak early in this football game to take advantage of the New York Jets, who they knew would be fired up early.
They've gained 9, 14, and 14 on the first 3 snaps. Jets defense reeling as Schaub throws incomplete, intended for Andre Johnson, who doesn't get to see Darrelle Revis as he normally does. Gets Antonio Cromartie. Let's look at this Jets defense and some of the names a little less familiar, especially up front.
Yeah, and they play multiple fronts. That means they line up a lot of different ways. And the young defensive linemen, when you look out there at number 93, Kenrick Ellis, 96, Muhammad Wilkerson, they have to step up and play big tonight.
Of course, Darrelle Revis injured his ACL 2 weeks ago in Miami, out for the rest of the season. Not on IR just yet. Foster the carry, cut it back. He stopped at the 45, so we're going to have 3rd down and about 7 coming up. First opportunity for this Jets defense, John, as they love to get in 3rd and longer situations. Less predictable Foster runs, more known passing situations.
Well, this is where the Jets have really struggled. 31st in the league on 3rd down defense. That's unheard of in Rex Ryan's world. They don't have a natural pass rusher. They have to do it with creative blitzes. They don't have a man on this football team with more than 2 sacks. Look for some confusion here.
3rd and 7. Here comes the pressure with the safety Landry. Schaub steps up and completes it to Walter for the first down at the 35-yard line.
Well, it's a blitz. 56, Demario Davis is coming out one side. Texans pick it up. There's no pressure whatsoever. Foster does a nice job. Schaub steps up, easy completion. The New York Jets are struggling, stopping the run and getting off the field on 3rd down. That's why they're struggling, Mike.
It's hard to believe the Jets have allowed every other 3rd down to be converted. They've given up over 50% of 3rd down situations this year. Now, Ben Tate, the running back, the second running back for the Texans, is out with a toe injury. Justin Forsett is backing up Arian Foster, and he'll gain just a yard as he runs it over to the right.
You know, when you look at this Houston Texan offensive line, they're playing a couple young guys on that right side, particularly at right tackle. Derek Newton, number 75, second-year man out of Arkansas State. Right guard Caldwell, 62. Both of these young men will be spelled tonight. They've been rotating 4 linemen at those 2 positions. Keep an eye on that.
2nd and 9, another quick count. Play action to Schaub, takes a shot. Wide open is Daniels, the tight end. Owen Daniels, a walking touchdown. Texans.
That's Schaub, Gary Kubiak. They work together as well as any quarterback coach combination in football. They set that up all the way. Matt Schaub fakes the ball and comes out naked to his left. He had Andre Johnson or Owen Daniels, who ran a splendid double move on Cromartie. We'll try to get the replay. Watch the outside move on Cromartie, and Owen Daniels runs back to the post. Put that on a highlight reel. Great ball handling. The offensive line sold it. The Jets bought it. What a beautiful opening drive. Mike, they did it last week against the Titans as well.
Shane Graham on for the extra point. A couple of touchdowns and a field goal in the first 5 games on the opening drive. They walk it down the field 85 yards. Schaub to Owen Daniels. 7-0 Texans. New York. Impressive opening drive from Matt Schaub and that Texans offense, and what has long been a staple of Gary Kubiak's offense, and here with the Texans, and something Rex Ryan's group could not stop. Play action pass. 2 of them, including a big one for the touchdown. Sanchez and the Jets in a 7-point hole as they get started. And Joe McKnight on the kick return. Mr. Alexander tackles him at the 13-yard line. We mentioned the play action being a staple of this Houston offense. The fake and then the time for Schaub. Look at the numbers he has put up since 2007, completing over 2/3 of his passes for over 6,000 yards. Nobody more lethal in the NFL. Yards per pass. They take big chunks, get big shots, like they did on that touchdown play to the tight end Daniels.
Important that the Jets have success early on offense. Been a long time since this offense has scored.
Drive start from the 13th for Sanchez. Sean Green up the middle. Not going anywhere. Ryan Cushing waiting for him. You're going to hear a very frustrated fan base tonight right away. They're missing a lot of people. Holmes and Keller. Stephen Hill, their 2nd-round pick. The Terminator, John Connor, their fullback. So a lot of different names in this Jets offense.
Well, they have no identity right now. They've got to find something they can do well. And these players that are injured aren't playing, so the guys that are replacing them must step up. If Sanchez doesn't get something going, I think Tebow will be in the bullpen tonight.
Joe McKnight in the game and moving out of the backfield and to a receiver spot. They want to get some more playmakers on the field. Sanchez pulled down as he throws. That pass is incomplete. Pocket collapsed by Antonio Smith, the veteran who went to the Pro Bowl last year.
Collapsed is a mild word, Mike. Antonio Smith on your right side unloads. He beats Brandon Moore easily. Then he runs over Lex Hilliard. You play quarterback. The Jets have to pick it up on the offensive line. They've got 3 Pro Bowlers in there. But one thing that impresses me the most is the inside pass rush of the Texans. Antonio Smith and J.J. Watt in their dime package have been unloading on everybody this year.
Took a long time to call this. Play clock running down on Sanchez. False start, delay a game, take your pick. Our referee tonight is Scott Green.
False start. Offense, number 60. 5-yard penalty. Third down.
John, you talked about it. Only one touchdown in the last 34 drives. Not even a sign of hope. There are anonymous players to these Jets fans. A lot of them sat through the San Francisco game last week, so their patience very, very thin. And undoubtedly, if they do not convert this 3rd and long, they'll let the Jets know right away. Run the extra offensive lineman to play almost a tight end in Jason Smith. 6 protectors for Sanchez. So he has time, and he completes it to Curley. He'll be 2 yards shy of the first down as he was knocked out by Brian Cushing, and the Jets will be forced to punt.
Well, it goes back to first down. They run the football. J.J. Watt beats right tackle Austin Howard for no gain. On 2nd down, right guard Brandon Moore gets beat by Antonio Smith. Then a false start, and you're going to give the Texans good field position. You better be careful with Houston. They can blow you out of here early with mistakes like that.
Tebow, personal protector. Jets had a punt blocked last week. Robert Malone with the kick. Not a good one. Not a good bounce. And Houston will take over at the 37-yard line. Good early start for the Texans and a bad one for the Jets. Schaub back after this. The 4-0 start, winning by a big margin. They've outscored their opponents by 70 in the first quarter of the season. It's a Houston offense that has a ton of points already, averaging 31.5 per game. Quick snap count, first down. Schaub taking a look for Andre Johnson, who's locked up in coverage with Cromartie. He did a very good job at the start of the play.
Well, the Houston Texans have a lot of plays that start off looking the same that are different, and it all starts with the 2-back stretch game. He'll hand it one play, and then the next play, he'll lure your free safety into the pile and keep it, and they'll come out and bomb you. But the Houston Texans do a great job with plays that start off looking the same that are different, and Matt Schaub, great ball handler.
On 2nd and 10, it is Foster, and a nice stop by the Jets with David Harris starting the parade of green. It'll be 3rd down and long coming up. John, we talked about the Jets defense for a long time since Rex Ryan has been here. That's been the calling card of this team. Making big plays, creating confusion. With the offense struggling so much, they've got to do a good job to keep the Jets in the game.
No question, Ed. 3rd down, as we said earlier, has been their Achilles heel. This is a very specialized defense. A lot of secondary people out there. 26, Langster. Smith, 33. 6 defensive backs.
3rd and 8, delay a game.
Delay of game. Offense. 5-yard penalty. Third down.
And, you know, Mike, when you lose Darrelle Revis, your star corner, not only do you lose a great player, you lose a lot of unique coverages. 2 position changes. Kyle Wilson has to go outside. Langster has to go inside. Jets have 2 new safeties as well. LaRon Landry, Jeremiah Bell. They've had a lot of communication issues on defense.
Third and 13, they rush 5. A screen set up for Foster. It wasn't going anywhere as David Harris was waiting. So 3 and out for the Jets, and Houston will punt it away.
I think David Harris is the best player on this Jets defense. He's a complete every down linebacker. He's going to play man-to-man on this scan screen. As Foster crosses a formation, David Harris read it beautifully and beat Myers to the ball. Excellent play by the Pro Bowl linebacker.
So Jeremy Curley back for the punt. A little bit of confusion here with Houston and their gunners. Trying to go down and cover. Donnie Jones kick, the lefty out of LSU. It was 41. Curley ran up to make a fair catch. So the Jets will get it for their 2nd possession at the 27-yard line. 6.5 gone by. 2nd drive for New York. Quarterback matchups yesterday. Peyton Manning defeated by Tom Brady. Phillip Rivers defeated by Drew Brees. Now they get to go head-to-head for the lead in the AFC West. Broncos Chargers We'll be in San Diego this time, a week from now, 8:30 Eastern, 5:30 Pacific. Sanchez and the Jets taking over at the 28-yard line. Again, nowhere to run on a first down carry for Sean Green. Wade Phillips has turned around this Houston defense, as we mentioned before. John, some new names that have come in, and they've all added up to second in points allowed, third in yards allowed.
Well, there's nothing they don't do well. I've already seen J.J. Watt make 2 solo tackles. They dominate in the front 7. Cushing, their middle linebackers all over the field, and they can shut you down in the secondary. Here's Tim Tebow, heads up for a play-action pass, Mike.
Tebow without Sanchez on the field. Here you see what he's done so far this year in the first quarter of the season. Not much. And a throw downfield, and it is incomplete for Jason Hill. So Tebow takes a shot, deepest pass he's attempted. Glover Quinn in coverage.
Glover Quinn is a heck of a football player. Tebow made a great throw right down the seam to Hill. And Glover Quinn, the ex-corner who Wade Phillips moved to safety, does a nice job turning, finding the ball at the last second. I think he tipped it out of there. Take a look at the very end of the play. Well thrown ball by Tim Tebow. I think Hill should have gone up and got it.
Hill has only arrived here a short time ago. Couldn't make Jacksonville's roster. 3rd and 10. Here comes the pressure as Sanchez throws. It's incomplete for Clyde Gates, the wide receiver. And again, it's very little work with a lot of these receivers and fans around Sanchez, but this is an offense getting to know each other.
That gets old real quick anywhere. Brian Cushing, watch him come on a stunt dog blitz. The linemen are going to stunt in front of him. He finds an open gap, and Sanchez got rid of this just in time. Not real good protection. Route confusion. 2 series in a row. The Jets don't look good on offense.
Wobbly kick by Robert Malone turns into a 4 kick, just 35 yards as it's taken out of bounds, and Schaub and the Texans will get the ball once again at the 38-yard line. Touchdown on the first drive, 3 and out on the second. Let's see what Matt has for you after this. Consecutive home games for the Jets. Embarrassed 34-0 at home 8 days ago by San Francisco. Justin Forsett is the back, and he won't get back to the original line of scrimmage. So a good first down defensive play with Mike DeVito. And John, we mentioned the Darrelle Revis injury earlier. Antonio Cromartie draws the assignment against Andre Johnson. When we've seen Pro Bowler against Pro Bowler, Andre against Darrelle Revis, as is usual, Revis has done a blanket great job.
I've seen Revis do this to everybody, though. And unfortunately, it doesn't look like Darrell's coming back. Nobody did it like Darrelle Revis, but Cromartie has to step up and be the star corner for the Jets now. And he's got some tough tasks, just as he does tonight with Andre.
Once again, it's the reverse. DeVere Posey got it that time. He slipped, and Brian Thomas was waiting for him. And for the 3rd straight drive, Houston will face a 3rd and long. This will be 3rd and 13.
That's what the Jets have to do, Mike. They've got to show that they can take a punch. They had a terrible opening drive on defense. They've fallen behind 7-0. They've got to get up off the mat and keep fighting. And that's what this defense has to do. They've got to carry this football team until their offense comes around. I'm impressed with the last 6 or 7 snaps from this Jet defense.
There's Cromartie. As you said, John, going with Andre Johnson wherever he goes. Man for man as Schaub climbs the pocket, goes for Johnson, and it's Cromartie with the interception.
Right on cue. Antonio Cromartie has somewhat been rejuvenated with the absence of Revis. They've asked a lot more of him. They're going to let him play offense tonight. And he does an excellent job carrying Andre Johnson right down the seam and finding the ball.
Told us from the sidelines, Antonio walked over and gave the football to his wife on the interception. Gets the ball back for the Jets offense, more importantly, at their own 43. Just Schaub's 2nd interception of the season. Bilal Powell is the back as Sanchez takes a shot downfield. Going up to make a play with a flag down. It's Clyde Gates, just his 2nd reception here with the Jets. 27 on the game.
Going beyond Joseph. Nice job by Sanchez, giving Clyde Gates a shot.
Interference. Defense. Number 24. Penalty is declined. First down.
And Jonathan Joseph had a slight groin pull in the Denver game. I like the fact that Tony Sperano tests Joseph early with Gates, a man who can run.
Cowell still the back from the 30. Here goes the second-year man out of Louisville for a gain of about 2 yards. Brooks Reed on the tackle along with Brady James. Tony Sperano is the offensive coordinator for the Jets. Of course, he was the former Miami Dolphins head coach. And Clyde Gates, who just made that last play, was a fourth-round pick of the Dolphins in 2011. So there have been a few acquisitions as the Jets have had injuries. Players Sperano's been familiar with.
And Joe McKnight has just checked into the game at tailback, Mike. He's a back that gives the Jets speed, and they need to use it out of the backfield tonight.
Here goes the former USC Trojan McKnight. He's only going to gain a yard. McKnight gained 2,200 yards at USC. Jets took him in the fourth round. He's been a special teamer, but really not a lot of productivity on the offensive side. As the talk is the offense too complex for him. But there are very few big speed playmaking guys, and many people are asking, can they get McKnight more on the field?
Well, it'll be nice. He's been playing defensive back. They moved him over to defensive back last week. Played 2 snaps, blitzed. Here he is back at tailback. Hopefully he finds a home on this Jet offense.
Jets' most experienced receiver with Sanchez, Jeremy Curley, bottom of the screen. Got a late break. Sanchez over the top for the tight end. Is it held on to? Yes. Jeff Cumberland. Touchdown Jets.
That's the kid Mark Sanchez has been telling us has been coming on. In Dustin Keller's absence, Cumberland has come alive as a go-to target. That time he goes straight down the seam. Mark Sanchez sees the single coverage. And when you have confidence in a big target, you give him a ball, he can go up and play. Nice work by Sanchez finding Jeff Cumberland over Glover Quinn.
Good throw. Good throw. Wasn't exactly Jumbo Elliott tipping that ball in the air that Monday night famous comeback by the Jets, but Cumberland, a little acrobatics until he hangs on for his first National Football League touchdown. Nick Folk for the extra point. So what do we say? Can the defense get a spark going? They intercept Schaub as Antonio Cromartie makes the pick. And Tony Sperano fired up to get Cumberland his first NFL touchdown, and more importantly, a tie game.
That's what you have to do. You got to keep playing. And a great quarterback brings out the best in whoever he plays with. Don't think Eli Manning hasn't played with a lot of different receivers, tight ends, and backs across the street. Mark Sanchez is in his 5th year. He practices hard. He prepares hard. And it's his job to give these young receivers and tight ends a chance tonight. I like what he did on that drive.
Now, for the people who weren't with us on Monday Night Countdown, you talked about watching Sanchez, and he has not played well. But it's not an excuse for what's going on around him, the changing offense and all the injuries he's been dealing with also.
Well, they haven't been able to run the ball either. Their running game is still in the shop right now. Injuries, the offensive line's got to pick it up. But I like the fact that the Jets have hung in there. They took a punch from the Texans. They came right back, tied the football game. That's a good sign.
And you got to know, Sanchez is hearing all the Tebow conversation that's happening around him. It's not just this network. It's the newspapers in New York. It's questions every day for Rex Ryan in his press conference. What's your quarterback situation? And appealing to Sanchez and stepping up on that one drive to get the game time.
I like what Sanchez told us, though. He's not worried about the Tebow music. He's going to do everything he can do to win football games, let everything else take care of itself.
Trignan Holiday muffs the kickoff from the 2. Pushing the back flag will bring it back. As he's down to 17. So the Jets recovering it well. Nice hang time on it. It'll be a long field for Schaub and the Texans.
Yeah, 31 KO made a obvious mistake there, pushing the back. That's going to put the Texans way backed up.
Tony Sperano going through those Polaroids.
There are 2 fouls against the receiving team. Low block. That penalty is declined. Illegal block in the back. Number 31. Half the distance to the goal. First down.
Mark Sanchez had us laughing. He said his conversation with Sperano on the sideline used to be Matt Cavanaugh, the quarterback coach who we talked to. Now it's Sperano. He said, big circles. This guy's open. This guy's open. Sanchez just wanted to say, hey, I'm almost on my back here. I can't get it to him. But they did on that drive.
Excuse me, Mike. Take a look out there in the huddle. New right guard, Ben Jones, the rookie out of Georgia. And at right tackle, Ryan Harris. Gary Kubiak going to the bullpen early in a backed-up situation. Watch that right side.
No first downs, last 2 drives for the Texans. Arian Foster will go left and gallop, and Foster with a safety back there. Landry turns him around, out to midfield, 46-yard run. Arian Foster.
This Houston Texan running game, I love it. It's not just the zone stretch. They have gap plays. They have draw plays. Here's an I formation lead play right to the left, and they split the New York Jets right behind left guard, number 74. Take a look at Wade Smith. And that's just good vision, good open field elusiveness by a great back.
And for a guy who is listed as a fullback but is more tight end than fullback, James Casey, a nice job with the isolation block on the linebacker Harris to spring Foster. After the 3rd longest run of Arian Foster's career, he comes left and no gain for the fourth-year man out of Tennessee. He was not drafted in the National Football League. Since 2010, he has done as much work as anybody, save Maurice Jones-Drew in the rushing yard category. Impressive numbers put up, byproduct of the good offense, a little chip on his shoulder for being undrafted, and a darn good talented back.
Yeah, he wears that number 23, I think, because there were 23 backs drafted and he wasn't. And he's outrushed all 23 of them.
The count, Schaub slides it underneath to Casey. And a gain of 5 for James out of Rice. And in college, Casey filled a lot of different roles. And a former baseball player as well, using those talents here in the NFL.
You look out in this Houston Texan huddle, Mike. They're playing 2 rookie wide receivers in key situations. 3rd-round pick, Devere Posey, number 11 out of Ohio State. I see Keyshawn Martin, number 82. 4th-rounder out of Michigan State. They're injecting some young receivers early in the season in key situations. Bunch formation with Martin isolated at the top.
Timeout, Houston. The play was coming in late. You saw Schaub back out of the huddle. He was in trouble hearing as the play was coming in and the timeout taken with 1:55 left in the quarter. Let's take this moment to talk about Gary Kubiak and this Houston offense. Gary Kubiak was back in Denver. He was John Elway's backup quarterback. He's a high school star in the state of Texas as a player. And, man, do they have a lot of offense at their disposal here.
You got to see his sideline sheet. I mean, it's a double-decker. And on that sideline sheet, he's got running plays, certainly passing plays, different situational plays. Home runs, red zone at the 5, the 10, the 15, the 20. He's got cover 2 beaters. He's got 46 Bear defense beaters. He's got plays for Andre Johnson. He's got 2-minute plays. Look at the size of that menu. I think he's got more plays on that thing than I've ever seen. But that's what continuity does for you. He's probably got some of Schaub's favorite plays. Incredible.
Did you have that many plays?
I think I did.
Did you?
Yeah. I just didn't write them that big.
It's another 3rd down, 3rd and 5. Two receivers left, 2 right. The Jets drop 8 in coverage, and Schaub has nowhere to go. Pass for Walters broken up by the combination of Kyle Wilson and Eric Smith. Another 3rd down stop.
This is where Rex Ryan and defensive coordinator Mike Pettin get you. It's the illusion of pressure. They're going to show Matt Schaub pressure, and they bail out of there. They just rush 3, and they play a maximum zone, and there's coverage people everywhere. There's nowhere to throw the football. Rex Ryan, Mike Pettin, they do a great job with the illusion of pressure. Sometimes they bring it, sometimes they don't.
Big rush up the middle on Jones, who has to get it away quickly. We'll see if he can be down inside the 10. Javier Posey just missed getting a hand on it, so it bounces back to the 15. It'll be a 30-yard punt, and the Jets will take over. Just to get everybody up to speed on the injuries on the Jets on the offensive side, Santonio Holmes, Liz Frank injury to his foot, out for the rest of the season. Dustin Keller, the tight end, he was working out a little bit before the game and on the opposite practice field when we saw the Jets on Saturday. They're hoping to get him back next week. And same true for their second-round pick, the wide receiver Stephen Hill out of Georgia Tech. So if they can get through this very tough part of the schedule with the Niners, the Texans here this week, they play Indianapolis next week, and they hope to get more passing options back for Sanchez. 3 yards on the run for Sean Green on first down.
You know, a lot of people call this Wade Phillips defense a 34 defense. It's hardly a 34 defense. A 34 defense is 3 down linemen and 4 linebackers. Wade Phillips plays a 5-2 defense. 5 defensive linemen and 2 linebackers, because Connor Barwin and Brooks Reed are really defensive ends playing on the outside. Those are 5 defensive linemen that force one-on-one blocks. That's why they're a handful.
2nd and 7, second straight carry for Green. And it'll be 3rd and manageable for the Jets as Green gets it to the 26-yard line. So if you're telling me that they're really playing with 5 up front, why does that make J.J. Watt so much more effective?
Because he gets a lot of single blocks. He gets a lot of one-on-ones with tackles and guards. And when he's in a one-on-one situation, it's almost a mismatch every single time. But remember, Barwin, number 98, had 11.5 sacks last year. Antonio Smith's been to the Pro Bowl, and Brooks Reed is a rising star. Every one of these guys demands a one-on-one block.
McKnight's the back, 3rd and 3. Sanchez running out of time, throws it high, and is caught by Chaz Schillens. The mark looks to be just around the first down marker, but it looked like he had to get to the line. This wasn't a touchback starting at a 20 to get to a 30. This was a down punt at the 15 that had to get, it's like, to the line at the 25, so the mark might be short.
Nice rally by nickel man Bryce McCain. Sanchez pushes up in the pocket.
Schillens, 4 seasons with the Raiders, caught 72 balls with Oakland. All right, Coach, what do you want to do? A couple of chain links short? They're going to start the clock, so you'll have the end of the quarter to think about it. But I'm not giving you till the end of the quarter to think about it.
Punt this is early in the game. He's going to punt it, I believe. Rex Ryan, though, if you want to shake up your team, here's a way to do it.
Sanchez walking over the sideline. They're watching the huge HD boards here just to see if they should think about challenging the spot. And taking a look at that. Now the clock will wind, and the quarter comes to an end.
This is the end of the first quarter.
And after one, it's 7-7 on Monday Night Football. All even at 7, quarter number 2 in New Jersey. Mike Tirico, John Gruden, Lisa Salters on the sideline. Jets inches short. They bring out the punt team for 4th down.
Keep an eye on Tim Tebow as the personal protector.
I'm gone with the Tebow fake once. Picked up a 5-yard first down in Miami. They're inches short of the first down. And they do snap it right to Tebow, and they've got the first down at the 27-yard line.
I love it. Anything goes with the New York Jets tonight. And this Tim Tebow just made a big play. He just takes the direct snap as the personal protector and drives it off the left side for a first down. Remember, he's a 255-pound, fired-up young man.
And look at the personnel out there. It's not as though Houston wasn't expecting it. They have all their defensive base personnel out there, John. They still run over them to get the first down. And that's one of the wrinkles the Jets have talked about using during this year. It's the 2nd time they've direct snapped it to Tebow and picked up a first down. The drive remains alive as Sanchez with a boot. Goes it low and incomplete for Connor Ruland, the tight end.
Well, you got to move the pocket and change the launching spot. That time it was well read by the Texans, and J.J. Watt Scraping down the line of scrimmage. Here's Connor Barwin going up.
He got a piece of it and deflected it. On the way to the tight end, Ruland was cut by the 49ers after being on their practice squad. The other tight end, Cumberland, missed most of last year with a torn Achilles. So again, detailing the lack of familiarity for Sanchez with these receivers. Time incomplete for Bilal Powell.
You know, the Jets don't have a back that they can involve in the passing game. Tomlinson was a great receiver. You see Bilal Powell just slip and fall. Sean Green came in here with 3 catches, Mike. Bilal Powell had 2. The Jets need a back that can mismatch these linebackers in space. Got to make routine plays.
On 3rd and 10, Texans rush 4, and the pass is knocked down by Brooks Reed.
That's just Bill Kohler, the defensive line coach, Mike. They use a lot of stunts and games on their defensive line. That time it was a trademark tackle in stunt. You'll see Reed come to the inside, bat the ball down. And that's something that every good pass rusher can do when he knows he's not going to get there.
After the fake punt, Jets go 3 plays and have to kick it away. And it's down to the 28-yard line by Isaiah Trufant. Good job by the Houston defense to stop the Jets after the fake. Empire State Building, New York City area. Our aerial coverage is brought to you by DirecTV. There you see MetLife Stadium. Seating 82,000. Giants beat Cleveland here yesterday. Season 3 for the Jets and Giants as co-tenants. Now, on the last punt, there was an issue.
Team went out of bounds, was the first to touch the ball. It's a 5-yard penalty.
Scott Green reporting that penalty that they missed live. The first player to touch it came from out of bounds, and that was Isaiah Trufant. So it's a penalty on the Jets. It adds 5. And the Texans take over at their own 33 instead of the 28. Drive number 5 for the Texans. Scott able to get back onside in time, and Schaub completes it to Walter. It's the Jets territory at the 49, first down.
Nice job with the snap count. Good play action pass that time and protection. And Walter, veteran receiver, right out of this play action pass, throws his shoulders down. Good touch by Matt Schaub. Kevin Walter, kind of the unsung hero of this Texan football team. He does a lot of dirty work. One of the more respected Texans.
Been around for a decade. Gets very little mention with this group. Number 49, play action for Schaub. Moved off the spot, just gets it to James Casey. And the fullback / tight end gets about 6 yards.
You know, Antonio Cromartie has done a great job filling in for Andre Rivas, playing star coverage. That means you go cover their star receiver. He took Andre Johnson once, then he got him on a double move for the second time. There's nowhere for Schaub to go. Then he carried him with ease up the seam, whipped his head around and intercepted a pass. The Jets have been spoiled. They had 2 star corners. Now they've got 1. They're lucky to have Cromartie, and he's playing well tonight.
Johnson off the field, gain of 7. It's Foster with a big run up the middle for the first down. They take it to the 34-yard line.
They're not just running stretch plays. That time they run the one-back power play. They pull their right guard, and Arian Foster just follows his right guard, Antoine Caldwell, and there's nobody there. That's a bad run fit by this Jets defense, and they continue to give up big chunks of yardage on the ground, Mike.
Let's think about last week, John. 245 yards rushing allowed to the 49ers. Foster to the right, got out of the block, and there goes Foster. Down the sideline, another big run. Arian falling awkwardly at the 15-yard line. But a first down as Jeremiah Bell finally stopped him.
Well, they're playing the 46 defense. Buddy Ryan, Rex Ryan, Rob Ryan are all known for it. They're covering both guards in the center. They're playing man coverage on the tight end and bringing Calvin Pace off the edge. This should be a good front to stop the run. But once again, it's that Gruden grinder, James Casey at fullback, Mike. Athletically, instinctively finding Bart Scott and springing Arian Foster.
Foster 6 carries, 80 yards, right back to him. Foster patiently waits, sniffing the goal line, gets in. Houston touchdown.
That's one thing I admire the most about the Houston Texans. They can run the football right down your throat, and they will repeat runs if you can't stop them. That's as good a drive on the ground as I've seen all year in the NFL. Just a simple zone play off the left side. Watch the outside footwork. Actually, it's a T scheme where they pulled the play side tackle Newton, and they did a great job springing Arian Foster. Good use of different schemes. And Walter did a great job, number 83, blocking on the perimeter.
Extra point added by Shane Graham. Runs of 8, then 21, and then 13 for Arian Foster in his 40th game, his 39th rushing touchdown. Texans back on top, 14-7. And the Houston offense scored a very impressive on their opening drive. After being stopped the next 3 drives, walked it down the field, and 3 successive runs. They picked up 52 yards on the ground there.
Different kind of runs, too. They run angle blocks, power schemes, stretch schemes. That's why Coach Kubiak's sideline sheet is so big. It can run all kind of plays.
Joe McKnight back for the Jets. Shane Graham's kickoff is going to be a short one. McKnight on the run to get it, but there's no blockers in front of him. He's going to slide to get it and just secure it. Back at the 14-yard line. Brian Brayman fell on him.
Watch the backside blocking by these Texans. Watch the center, the right guard, and the right tackle just cut down these Jet defensive players. And it's just a thing of beauty. It's like a concert, a symphony on the backside, Mike. They do an excellent job. Play side, backside, and on the perimeter as receivers blocking for Arian Foster. There's Walter, number 83. He's done it a long time. And Gary Kubiak had receivers in Denver, Rod Smith and Ed McCaffrey, that blocked. They knocked people down for Terrell Davis and Mike Anderson, and he's done it for 10 years. He's an unsung hero here.
All right, 2 things here. First off, as Brayman hit McKnight on the return, they gave him a personal foul, so it's 15 yards, so it takes it out to the 29. You see Sanchez walking off. Tebow in at quarterback for the Jets. Faked it to Bilal Powell, and it's a Tebow run for 3 to the 32-yard line. Glover Quinn comes up from the safety spot to cap off the hit.
I'd like to see Tim Tebow get a series, get in the flow of the game a little bit. He never really knows when he's coming and going. I never get the feeling that he's loose or warmed up, and they're going to stay with him. Get him in the flow of the game. Let him get hit in the mouth. That's when he's his best, when he's sweating and playing a little bit.
Around to get it that time is Bilal Powell. It's taken to the 35-yard line. Cushing's hurt. Brian Cushing, the Texans' star inside backer, shaken up on the play. The Jet fans are booing. They're booing as Sanchez comes back on the field and Tebow comes off. Not necessarily because Cushing is down and hurt. Brian Cushing, team MVP last year on the defensive side. Medical staff looking at him. The left leg, the knee area of Brian Cushing. I mentioned before, he's Mark Sanchez's former teammate. They were roommates at USC. You see Matt Slauson coming in, chopping him there.
Hate to see that. Scary. That was an ugly fall there.
Walked off unaided by the trainers, but it certainly doesn't indicate anything. Sanchez back in. 3rd and 4 pass is complete to Jeremy Curley, but he's marked shy of the first down. So it'll be 4th and inches again. Kareem Jackson made the play. And the punting unit with Tebow probably coming back out for the Jets.
You know, Kareem Jackson has really come on here, Mike. 3rd-year corner, former first-round draft choice. He sees Curley in motion. Watch him pull the trigger and drive on this throw in the flat. That's a nice play. Might Rex Ryan fake another one here, Mike? I see Tebow over there in the huddle with Mike Westhoff, the special teams coach. If anybody has a play for this situation, it's Mike Westhoff. He's done it well and done it for a long time.
Final year as a Jets coach, going to retire after this year. Dozen years with the Jets. Long career before that with Miami. You see, just less than a foot short.
He's got pass plays for Tebow. He's got it all in this situation.
Looks like he's going to leave his offense out there and go for it on fourth down. But with Sanchez out there, not Tebow.
You know, they've got a new fullback here, Mike. Lex Hilliard just got here. He's been here for about a week. Number 36. He's filling in for John Connor, who's hurt. Critical position, fullback in a short yardage down.
Sperano sends the play to Sanchez. Mark's former teammate at USC, as we said, roommate Brian Cushing is walking back towards the locker room to get further examination on that left knee. Coming back home, he grew up 15 minutes from here. So looked forward to it, and you see a very disappointed look on his face.
That's concerning.
Oh, yeah, absolutely. Guy who's played so well for them, especially last year in this defense. 4th and inches. Keeping is Sanchez, trying to sneak for the first down. And they'll umpire the bodies.
It's the quarterback wedge sneak. Everybody steps with their inside foot, and they wedge block it. Tempers are flaring out here.
Yeah, at the bottom of that pile, they're pushing for the spot there. And as they unpiled, players with a lot of pushing, so it's spotted, and they'll have to come measure. It's spotted just at the front edge of the 39-yard line you see there, so it'll be very, very close. You've got to have variety in offense and keep people off balance, but the first thing you're thinking is if you're going to run that play, you have a fullback in Tebow who plays quarterback. Wouldn't you take your shot with him, right?
That's what Sanchez probably said.
That's right. I just got it. First down.
And you look out there in this Texan defense now, Mike. Tim Dobbins, number 52, the veteran middle linebacker, will take over for Cushing. Brady James, the ex-Dallas Cowboy, number 53. And here's Antonio Cromartie playing offense. The Jets have a need for speed. Don't be surprised if they send Cromartie down the field.
Jonathan Joseph, who's used to covering the big receiver, covering Cromartie. And Sanchez looking that way. Throwing it away. Cromartie breaks free. Cromartie! Did he get the second foot down? No. He caught it, went to the ground with it, but it was drifting out of bounds and incomplete. Cromartie was not caught a ball since 2002 in high school in Florida.
Well, he played 5 snaps last year. Just a double move. He's going to just stutter and take off. And he has that long stride and great speed. Almost got it in.
Trying to drag the feet. 1 in, 1 out.
If I'm the Texans, I've seen a fake punt. I've seen Tebow run the read option. Now Cromartie, be alert for some more trickery.
So second down, and Sanchez comes left side, trying to back shoulder throw. Incomplete for Cumberland, the tight end, covered by Danielle Manning. Jets sideline. Wanted a flag, but none thrown.
Well, that's one of Mark Sanchez's favorite play. They call it sluggo seam here, and the initial read is a slant and go to Cumberland. And Danielle Manning, the ex-Chicago Bear, I don't know. I probably would have given a flag to Manning there. But it was obvious man-to-man coverage, and that's what Danielle Manning has been able to do, go cover detached tight ends that are gifted receivers.
It's 3rd and 10. Sanchez back to throw again, put it up for grabs. I mean, very carefully as he was going down. Going to be ruled an incomplete pass. J.J. Watt was sitting on sack number 8.5, and Sanchez just got rid of it in time. Running downfield with the ball was Bilal Powell, but it was blown incomplete.
Look who made the tackle. J.J. Watt just ran over New York Jets. Barwin's in there, balls bouncing around. Bilal Powell picked it up, thought it was a fumble, and J.J. Watt tackled him too. this J.J. Watt, I don't know how many watts are in his energy source, but there's a lot of them. He is a one-man wrecking machine. Hard to block this kid. I don't care who you got to block him.
7.5 sacks coming in. More hang time in the first couple of kicks. Not that one. Robert Malone crushed it. Oh, they let it go, but it goes all the way. So it's 61 of gross, but only 41-yard net on the punt. It's still a pretty good number. We talked about J.J. Watt coming in and what he does to disrupt offenses. Sanchez feeling the effects there. Beautiful shot. Statue of Liberty. Here in New Jersey, not too many miles away, 8.5 left in the half. Texans scored in their last drive, keeping it on the ground. 7-point lead. And the 2 undefeateds in the NFL. Arian Foster with good numbers so far. Gained almost 4. So the Jets are trying anything, including putting a cornerback at wide receiver, but the quarterback didn't help his own cause.
Well, you're going to get very few opportunities. You get a guy wide open deep, you got to make the throw. And Mark Sanchez has to keep the ball on the playing field and give Cromartie a chance to play it. When you get guys open deep, those are the throws you have to hit. Credit Tony Sperano for taking some shots and using whoever's up tonight.
Second and 7. Schaub's first look is covered. Just throws it away. Out of the tackle box, sends it over to the defensive sideline meeting. And it'll be 3rd and 7 for the Jets defense.
You know, one thing about Matt Schaub is he is not a scrambling quarterback. He hasn't scrambled for a first down all year. I don't think he's had a 10-yard gain as a runner in over 2 seasons. But he's the hardest quarterback to sack. Only been knocked down 3 times. Once again, the play getting in late to Schaub. They're probably going to need a timeout in this noise.
Yeah, play clock down at 12 here. You got it. And that's rare. Usually the communication and the tempo is very crisp for this Houston team. They've used 2 timeouts so far. A couple of long-time gurus on their side of the ball going head-to-head tonight with Gary Kubiak calling the plays and Rex Ryan trying to dial up 3rd down defenses to get them off the field.
Always admired the coaches that call the plays. One of the best in football. Kubiak on the left, offensive coach, and the one on the right. He's as good as there is on defense. Going to be a great battle throughout the night.
And one of the rare head coaches who calls defensive signals. Don't see it often. Schaub's having trouble hearing the plays coming in. A little mechanical malfunction. 3rd and 7 for Houston. Jets overload the pressure from the right. Schaub gets hit. Completes it still to Foster. First down as Harris brings him down at the 40-yard line.
This Matt Schaub makes one of the great completions of the night under serious pressure. He hangs in there. Watch Schaub get rid of this on his back foot with Jets in his face. He knows exactly where every one of his Texan receivers are. How about that for pocket toughness? It's amazing that he has that kind of poise and accuracy under that kind of fire. Great play by Schaub.
Houston has it at the 40, 1st and 10. 4-0 Texans. With a great offensive machine. Arian Foster on the ground with only a yard, but a penalty marker's coming down for a holding penalty. Back behind the play.
Holding, offense, number 86. 10-yard penalty, first down.
Arian Foster, he carries 97 yards so far for this Houston offense. He's done a good job running. The Texans scored on their first drive in their most recent. The Jets defense is still showing the problem they had, giving up too many rushing yards, 110 here in the first half. They gave up 245 to San Francisco last week. Mark Sanchez has not looked bad, but his completion percentage has been down. Tim Tebow's had probably the most significant impact he's had offensively. Threw a long pass that was on target, but just deflected away at the last minute and picked up a first down on a fake punt. Schaub's pass is complete to Kevin Walter at the 38-yard line as they get back some of the penalty yardage, John.
Well, you make a good point, Mike, and you look out on that Jet defense. Some of these young defensive linemen have to pick it up. There's no pass rush. Now, I'm talking about Quentin Coples, their first rounder. Muhammad Wilkerson, 96, first rounder. Kendrick Ellis running off the field right now, number 93. These young Jet defensive linemen have to pick it up in green.
Second and 11, back to their staple, the play action to the tight end underneath it, Owen Daniels, right to stick. So they're facing 1st and 20 after a holding penalty, and in 2 snaps of the finger, first down Houston at midfield.
Balance. You run the ball, you can play action pass, and nobody combines the two better.
And let's update with the numbers tonight. He's been good in play action again this evening, Matt Schaub. You go back since 2007, most play action passes to gain 20 or more yards. Matt Schaub ahead of Rivers and Brady and Manning and Breeze. So the effectiveness of the continuity of the offense and the ability to run it, like you said. 5 for 5 on play action tonight. There's that one towards Foster, who was well covered by Eric Smith, the safety, coming out of the backfield. Garrett McIntyre got in there. He's a player, John, who's actually made some sort of an impact pushing the pocket and getting to the passer a little bit for the Jets.
Well, McIntyre's a great story. 27 years old, played in the Arena Football League, Canadian Football Leagues, sat out a year, suspended by the league. Heck, he's their best pass rusher, most productive.
Jets now have rookie 6th-round pick Josh Bush, safety, on the field as Foster dances, and Mike DeVito brings him down at the 46-yard line. 3rd and along, 6 coming as we get to the 5-minute mark of this first half.
Here comes the pass rush specialist of the Jets. Number 51, Aaron Mabin, had 6 sacks last year coming over from Buffalo. He has not delivered yet for the Jets, and he's overdue. Critical stop situation here for the Jets, and they have to rev up this pass rush from someplace.
So the chairman and CEO of the Jets, Woody Johnson, cheering with the crowd on 3rd and 7. Pressure again to Schaub's right. Steps into the void. Throws incomplete. Good coverage behind the pressure. They'll bring up 4th down. Kyle Wilson, Eric Smith on the coverage.
Overload field pressure. These Jets have blitzes that come from the wide side of the field, the short side of the field. That time Rex Ryan brought it from the wide side. Schaub does a nice job eluding it. He steps up, veers to his right, but good coverage down the field by this Jet defense. Important get off.
Donnie Jones will try to give the struggling Jets offense a long field to deal with. That was great. Killed it at the 7-yard line. They make it to 6. But J.J. Watt back on the field. We've talked about his impact, 7.5 sacks in his second year. John Brinkus, our sports science guys, did the numbers. Real quick, it's the 3-cone test. He's 40 pounds lighter than Clay Matthews, but the time is about the same. 40 pounds heavier, I should say, than Clay Matthews. Now, John talked about knocking down passes. Massive 11 1/8 inch hands, bigger than Gronk. So add that to his 37-inch vertical leap. It's Derrick Rose type hops. You know what that means? He can get up with the hands and the leap above the rim by 1.5 feet if we were playing basketball. That's why he knocks down so many passes by quarterbacks. Sean Green with a tackle on the gain of 4, and show us what he's done tonight.
Let's check in on J.J. Watt. Here he is from the backside, knifing down Sean Green. He gets off a double team and rejects another play side run. And there he is again, playing with his hands, great vision. Pass rush, good arm over, sack. How much production do you expect from an inside player? I've never seen production from an inside player like I've seen from J.J. Watt in 5 weeks.
The run for 4. Sanchez passing in traffic. Chaz Schillens holds on to that right near the first down mark at the 17. Brady James, Kareem Jackson the tackle. Back to Watt. His story is extraordinary. He was at Central Michigan as a tight end. Didn't pan out there. They were going to make him an offensive lineman. He decides to follow his dream, go back to Wisconsin. Walks on at Wisconsin. Turns into a defensive lineman, a star on their team. Goes to the Rose Bowl. And then gets drafted by Houston in the first round. Turns in a terrific rookie season. Started this week leading the NFL in sacks with 7.5. Extra lineman Jason Smith in to block, 3rd and short. And Sean Green gets that yard and a half that they've been getting often on their runs, but this time for a first down.
And it's important they get Sean Green going. Been very quiet. Came in tonight with 191 yards, just over 2.5 yards a carry. He's the kind of back that needs to see the ball 18 to 22 times. He's a guy that can wear down a defense, but he needs more opportunities. Important for the Jets to find their running game, and Sean Green again quick.
To show you Brian Cushing going off the field earlier with that left knee injury. His return termed as questionable, as you would expect from the Texans staff at this point. No further diagnosis. Sanchez, no time, ball's knocked out. Picked up by Lex Hilliard, the Jets fullback. That's one of the better plays the Jets have had tonight. Out to the 25-yard line. Brooks Reed came off the edge, had the strip sack.
Well, the Jets have Jason Smith playing tight end, the former tackle of the Rams. He just gets beat soundly by Brooks Reed on the backside.
Stripped it, knocked it out. Just a return there on the fumble by Hilliard, but got positive yards for the Jets. Chris Mortensen, Adam Schefter, Toyota halftime show coming up. From the sounds from the field on Sunday, Drew Brees record-setting day, the injury update for RG3 down in D.C. and the baseball playoff highlights, which were not good for the team from D.C. earlier today. 2nd and 3. Jets full complement of timeouts. Sanchez going up top towards Clyde Gates, incomplete. The fans on this side saw the hand fighting. They wanted pass interference on Joseph. Not called.
Let me show you what Brooks Reed did right before the break, Mike. Speed rush, bottom of the screen. He beats Jason Smith. Watch his flexibility to get to corner, dip, swat the ball out of Sanchez's hands. And if you're going to double team J.J. Watt or triple team him with a back, Brooks Reed will say, fine, I'll take that one-on-one. These Texans are disturbing the peace with their pass rush, Mike.
We saw Clyde Gates running off the field, hanging that left hand low. Injured on the play. 3rd down, Sanchez able to complete for the first down to Chaz Schillens.
What you have to be able to do against one-on-one coverage is throw the quick game and win with sharp slant patterns. That time a well-protected down by the offensive line, and Schillens wins on the slant. Good accurate throw.
Jason Hill checks in the game as the 3rd receiver. Jets are down to 3 as Sanchez throws. It's caught by Curley. Inside the 30, the 27-yard line. A pickup of 36.
Mark Sanchez is showing me something tonight. This is a great throw under pressure. It's going to be a strong side blitz. He stands in there, gets hit right as he throws his football. That's big time.
Good pickup of the pressure, too, by Powell, I believe it was, the running back. Gave Sanchez that extra half second. Jets getting in field goal range. Sanchez again throws underneath, caught by Schillens. He's knocked forward for the first down. So these no-name Jet receivers, very few of them have been here for a long time, doing a good job in this 2-minute drill.
Yeah, that time Schillens didn't know the play. Watch him raise his hands. He's like, hey, what are we going to here? Then the ball snapped. Fortunately, he runs a slant route. Sanchez throws a beautiful pass.
Good guess.
But when you have a lot of new receivers, fill it in. You have no choice but to step up. I'm impressed with what Mark Sanchez has done. Standing in there, he missed Cromartie earlier, didn't hang his head, came right back. They're lucky with that fumble, though. That ball bounced their way after the Brooks Reed sack. Sanchez has made 2 nice throws in this drive.
You saw earlier on this drive the hand injury to Clyde Gates, one of the other wide receivers. So it's Curley, Jason Hill, and Schillens. Only 3 full-time receivers that are healthy right now for the Jets. They used Antonio Cromartie for a snap at receiver in the first half.
This is where Wade Phillips loves all-out blitz.
Sanchez adjusts the play. Jets in the red zone. Bilal Powell with the run. Gets it to the 12. Again, Jets 2 timeouts, 42 seconds, turning clock. 2nd down coming up. Fans getting restless, but still okay time-wise here. Sanchez, quick throw deflected and intercepted. It's Bryce McCain McCain. McCain's got a convoy down the sideline. What a game-changing play this is. McCain off to the races. Pound chasing. Inside the 10, he's brought down at the 9-yard line. It was J.J. Watt, I believe, who got the first hand on it, and a big turn of events late here in the second quarter.
All-out blitz. Wade Phillips has no fear. Brings the jailbreak blitz. McCain squats on a route, and they're gone. Might have been tipped by J.J. Watt, but
Sure was.
J.J. Watt continues to wreak havoc. All-out blitz. McCain makes an excellent play, and you got to give Bilal Powell credit for hustling.
And Curley,
Curley
the
as
intended
well.
receiver. Now 14 seconds left. The Texans only have one timeout, so they probably have one shot at the end zone. They're down here at the 9, perhaps 2. But a huge red zone turnover by the Jets. At worst, going in to make it 14-10 at the half. 86 yards on the return by McCain. Gives Schaub a great opportunity. Matt pressured. Picks it up and gets rid of it. Incomplete. Down to 9 seconds left.
Well, let's take a look at it. You're going to see Sanchez get rid of the ball, and J.J. Watt is going to tip it. And McCain does an excellent job off the ricochet. J.J. Watt has rejected 6 passes. 3 of them have been intercepted. That's an amazing stat. 6 batted balls, and 3 of them resulting in Texan interceptions.
Second and goal, 9 seconds left. Johnson comes over here to join Foster. They put 4 receivers left. Schaub's got to watch the clock, and now he throws it away out of the back of the end zone with 2 seconds left in time for a field goal. So it's a good job by the Jets defense in those 2 plays to limit the damage to, at worst, a field goal.
Here comes Shane Graham. He's been around, Mike.
Jet fans know him as the guy who, with Cincinnati, missed a couple of big field goals for the Bengals in that playoff game of 2009, kicking for his 8th team. Most of his years with Cincinnati, 7 of his 11 seasons. 27-yarder to end the half. And Graham knocks it through. So it looked like the Jets were going to narrow it down to 4. Instead, the Watt deflection, the McCain interception. 10-point lead for the Texans. Jets get the ball to start the 3rd. And here's Chris with the Toyota Halftime Show. Boomer. With Atlanta as the only undefeated teams in the NFL, leading the Jets 17-7. We're set for the start of the 3rd quarter. We're at a 52-degree cool night, MetLife Stadium. Mike Tirico, John Gruden, Lisa Salters on the sideline. The Jets gave up so many rushing yards, 245 against San Francisco. Arian Foster closing in on 100 yards early here. Part of this complete Texans team that we saw on display in the first half.
Yeah, I agree. It has been complete, and they have run the ball very well against the New York Jets. And it started in a backed-up situation. Foster slammed it off the left side, made a great move in the open air, and had a 50-yard gain. And then it was a beautiful down block by the tight end, Dwayne Brown. Wade Smith pull. He picks up a block on the edge from James Casey, and it's a walk-in touchdown for Arian Foster. The running game is hot. And off of the running game, you get the bootlegs. They fake it to 4 set, and Owen Daniels runs a beautiful corner post touchdown wide open. And when the Texans are on defense, we said it coming in here, it's going to be a lot of J.J. Watt. He's been disruptive. He's sacked the quarterback. He's ruined this game with this tip pass and Bryce McCain interception at the end of the first half. Offense, defense, and solid special teams. And the Texans are on their way to their 5th straight win.
Jets going to have to try to find some offense in the second half. They'll get the ball first to start this 3rd quarter. Mark Sanchez has made a couple of good plays, a good drive. That interception, a killer there at the end of the half for whatever conversation about should Sanchez be replaced by Tebow. What are you going to do to insert excitement on the offense? 1 snap of offense for Cromartie, 4 snaps for Tebow. Joe McKnight from a yard deep in the end zone brings it out, and as he's brought down finally at the 26-yard line, Let's check in with Lisa Salters.
Hey, Mike, well, I was just talking to Rex Ryan, and I said, but for the turnover, the offense really started to click on that last drive. How do you keep that going? And he said, you know what, we got to just keep mixing it up, keep them off balance, maybe mix in a little bit of no huddle. And he said, hopefully Lady Luck will finally start shining on the Jets. But he said, defensively, you know, we got to just quit giving them things. He said, we're playing really good defense, but when we make a mistake, they're making us pay. Mike?
And you saw the end of the half. The Jets, instead of being within 4 or tied, are down 10. Joe McKnight will start in the backfield in this third quarter. Only gained about a yard on the carry. Connor Barwin came in. Look at these halftime stats. You see dominated by Houston's offense. A couple of longer and better drives. That yards per rush number, very troubling for the Jets. 8.6 allowed. And the turnover issue that they faced. And on top of all their problems, Nick Mangold, their center, just went down on that first play. And they're out looking at the 4-time Pro Bowler, who's only missed 2 games in his Jets career. That was against Baltimore and Oakland last year. So this beat up offense. Look at Mangold, their center, down on the field. Timeout.
ESPN's Monday Night Football is brought to you by IBM. Let's build a smarter planet. Visit IBM.com/smarterplanet. Mercedes-Benz, located on the web at NBUSA.com. And NFL.com. Learn more about the NFL's fight against breast cancer at NFL.com/ping.
Back here in New Jersey, Nick Mangold walked off very gingerly with the help of 2 trainers. His leg got trapped underneath him. So the center is now Matt Slauson. Vladimir Dukas is in at left guard.
False start. Offense number 62. 5-yard penalty. Second down.
And it's Dukas called for that penalty. And you see how gingerly Mangold is walking. He's 74 there. And that right leg is J.J. Watts making the tackle. That ankle gets rolled up on in a pretty nasty way. And they've taken him over to the training table on the far side. The cart now to get examined in the locker room. 2nd and 14. Confusion on which side McKnight was going to get that handoff on. McKnight still goes forward to the 32. It's a nice run for Joe.
Left guard Vladimir Dukas has to pick up his game. He's lucky this is a draw play. And McKnight shows off his quickness. But with Slauson moving from left guard to center and the insertion of Vladimir Dukas at left guard, it's time for the former second rounder to prove he belongs.
You see Slauson sliding in there to the center spot. All those consecutive starts came at left guard. Mangold has been out there so often for the Jets. Only 2 games missed in his years. Struggle getting it to Curley as he came around. So a couple of very poor exchanges by the Jets the last 2 snaps.
That's an interesting call on 3rd and short. A jet sweep into the short side of the field. Snaps a little bit high, and the operation on these jet sweeps in the shotgun, the snap is critical, and might not have been the best call when you have your backup center in the game.
Yep.
Running a jet sweep.
So after a couple of missed exchanges, you saw Sanchez with the wrong direction on that handoff, or the back, not sure, on 2nd down. Good hang time by Robert Malone. Brendan Holiday from inside the 10, flagged down. 3 of them down on the block. The Jets gunners did a good job and forced DeVere Posey into a position where he had to either let him go or commit a foul. He did the latter. Scott Green, our referee. So instrumental representing the officials during the lockout.
During the return, receiving team, illegal block in the back, number 11, half the distance to the goal. First down. Timeout.
So it'll be a long field for Matt Schaub and the Houston offense. Put up 17 in the first half. Before the Texans take over, let's check in with Lisa Salters.
Hey, Mike, a few injury updates for you. Let's start with the Jets. The injury we just saw with center Nick Mangold. He's back in the locker room being treated for an ankle injury. His return is questionable. And also for the Jets, they already have a depleted receiving core. They've lost another body. Clyde Gates is out with a shoulder injury. For the Texans, linebacker Brian Cushing, he had a left knee injury in the first half. He is also out, will not return.
All right, none of those 3 injuries look like little tweaks. Let's hope that the MRIs and the exams turn out better than it looked on the field. Foster with the carry to the edge. Arian's going to get taken down just shy of 10. David Harrison, LaRon Landry on a tackle. John, I enjoyed the conversation about Arian Foster with Matt Schaub and with his terrific left tackle Dwayne Brown last night, because they talked about his pride, his workmanship, how he's such a good student of the game, desire to be a 3-down back. Everything you'd ever want in a running back, he's provided.
And he's really good, too. He's a slasher, man. This guy's really come into his own.
Complete back. Chance to join some very good company. Yards gained in the first 40. As you saw a moment ago, and he carries a couple yards shy of the first down.
And it's nice to have a big back that can drive the ball off your own goal line. 2 good solid runs for just over 8 yards. Sets up a 3rd down and short, and that's just where Gary Kubiak loves to be. He's got a lot of offense at his disposal right now. He can run it again, and he has some nasty play-action passes.
Over the bunch, 3 to the left. Daniels comes to block Foster. They're just seeking that extra yard to get the first down out of the 17-yard line.
That's a great run. Hidden yardage. Yards after contact. Finishing runs. Vision. Watch him just follow his left guard, Wade Smith, off the left side. Myers does a nice job at center. Just good second effort running at balance. I had a guy like this in Philadelphia a long time ago named Ricky Waters. Similar size, versatility, great receiver, could do it all, and got stronger as the game went on.
Schaub standing in there as he got hit. And Andre Johnson with a catch to the 31-yard line for the first down. First time was called Andre catching the ball here.
Andre's probably happy to get a ball here in New York or New Jersey. Play action pass off the right side. Linebackers will step up, and you're going to see Andre show up from right to left. Zone defense. Andre Johnson does a nice job finding the holes within the zone, and once again, Schaub is on time and accurate.
It's a dominant player in the league, still a star, but not as dominant as he once was in his 10th year. Schaub throwing to Johnson, back-to-back, and that time he dropped it. With Cromartie there, Cromartie was begging for an offensive pass interference on Johnson, who didn't hang on.
That's too bad, because Justin Forsett did a great job. It's that 46 Bear defense, and you're going to see Bart Scott come right off the tight end. And Forsett does a nice job peeling back underneath Schaub for the pickup. Andre's got to make that catch.
Forsett the lone back on 2nd and 10. Here comes the former Seahawk with nowhere to go, as Kenrick Ellis just fell down and he tripped over him. Garrett McIntyre got the cleanup. We talked about Andre Johnson, his once dominant status in the league, John. Only Marvin Harrison, if you take 5 seasons, minimum 80 games, had more receptions per game. Those are 1-2 in NFL history. Then you flip it over to yardage, and he's just a hair ahead of Calvin Johnson for most receiving yards per game. But Johnson is not a 70-snap-a-game guy anymore. He's trying to limit his snaps early in the season, because there's fuel in the tank, and he's healthy for November and December. 3rd and 10, the Jets pressure down. Here they come. They got rid of it to Daniels. And Owen's got a first down out near midfield. The same pressure they kept coming with in the first half, John.
Well, the Texans come out with an empty backfield. They've got a tight end and 3 receivers here, and the Jets bring a corner blitz off the short side of the field. Strange blitz, and nobody covers. Owen Daniels in the middle of the field. 3rd down defense has been a problem for the Jets all year. 31st coming in here tonight, and to give up a 3rd and 10 in that situation and blow a coverage, not good.
And Houston's kept them right at that average. They've converted half their 3rd downs. The midfield, Foster back in there running back. Arian will get 2 or 3 yards. Quentin Copeland's the Jets' 1st-round pick out of North Carolina. making the tackle.
That's that stretch play the Texans are known for. And everywhere you go, you say to these defensive coaches, how do you stop that stretch play? And Rex Ryan told us last night, we've got to get penetration on the play side. We have to disrupt the play side of this track that they love to run. And we got to stay up on the backside because the Texans love to cut you down. So far, they haven't been successful yet.
Here comes Foster, and there's the cutback part of it. But waiting for him was Josh Mona, the linebacker, who's now on the third different pronunciation of his name. Out of Nevada, he said Mona is now how he wants it pronounced. Playing a lot more because Bart Scott's foot's been bothering him.
They have so many ways to block the backside. This time Owen Daniels comes backside to get it. But watch Foster stay on his track. He presses it, and he cuts it back. This play is getting close to breaking out, Mike. The dike will break sooner or later if you give Foster looks like that.
3rd and 3, play 10 of the drive. Schaub throws complete, and Casey hangs on. He absorbs a big hit at the 33-yard line. First down for Houston.
He's a grinder. This Casey plays fullback, tight end, H-back, bunch formation. They scatter in different directions in a nice little option route by James Casey. How many fullbacks can do what Casey's done in this Texan offense? He lines up in multiple formations. He creates a lot of confusion in opposing defenses. He can run block. He can run routes and catch the football.
Again, Ben Tate's out tonight with a toe injury, so Justin Forsett is the backup for Arian Foster. And Forsett taking it to the left. And the general lost his helmet. Bart Scott kept going to make the tackle at the 27. Gain of 5.
One of the things I'm really impressed with Houston is the time of possession. They came in tonight averaging almost 36 minutes a game. That'll make your defense even better because I've never seen a defense give up a yard when they're on the sidelines. But this is one of those Houston Texan drives where the clock continues to tick. This is the 12th play already.
And they've had a 6-minute advantage on the Jets here tonight. Crack there for Foster. It's a gain of 3. So this Jets defense will have to try to solve a 3rd down for the 4th time on this drive. And it's a Jets defense that got called out after the San Francisco game last week. It appealed to the heart of a team when you call them out with their stats or the media or anything of the sort. But after the loss to San Francisco, Carlos Rogers made a comment about how it seemed like the Jets players in the 4th quarter quit. And Mike Pettin, the defensive coordinator for Rex Ryan, put it up on a PowerPoint, big slide, let everybody see it in the room. And with the fact that a peer called them out, appealed to their pride, see if they can turn it around tonight. 3rd and 2, it's Schaub, has to go a second look, and it is incomplete. It's Garrett Graham, the other tight end behind Owen Daniels, try to peel it off the ground. Schaub disappointed because had an opening to keep that drive alive.
Well, he lost his rhythm. He tried to reset. It was an awkward delivery, and the ball just was thrown poorly. Almost a great catch by Graham. Wide open in the middle of the field. Schaub disappointed in himself there.
This will be Shane Graham from 42 yards. Made one from 27 earlier. Able to bang that one through, and the Houston Texans extend the lead to 13. It's a long drive. That's what this team does well. They took half the quarter. The Jets offense, as weak as it has been, it's a killer. 20-7 Houston. For all you people who are clamoring to see Tim Tebow, four snaps so far of Tim Tebow of the Jets' 37 plays. Mark Sanchez, 9 of 19, still under 50%. As Fireman Ed speaks for the Jets fans often, his exasperation shows. Less than scintillating performance the last 2 weeks. Joe McKnight trying to change that. There goes McKnight down the sideline. Chased by DeVere Posey. McKnight at the 20. McKnight at the 10. McKnight is in!
I love the New York Jets special teams. It doesn't matter who returns kicks. Mike Westhoff, the special teams coach, has had more kickoff returns since he's been here than any man in football, and Joe McKnight continues to be dominant in this system. He takes the ball right up the numbers, and off he goes. Missed tackles, and he is gone. Great block by number 54, Nick Ballore, and Joe McKnight can finish.
In scoring play, so it gets reviewed to make sure he stayed in bounds, and a tremendous finish, and that's why we talk about McKnight adding some offense and some spark. Look at Rex. Slim down Rex. He's got a better 40 time. They're waiting for the score to be confirmed as every scoring play gets looked at. And Scott Green, the referee, has a pager, and it will tell him confirmed, and he blows it ready for play. So McKnight with a touchdown, and the Jets extend the record 100 yards on the takeback. The 11th consecutive year that the Jets have had a kickoff return for touchdown, an NFL record. And it's the 16th kickoff return for touchdown since 2001.
I was on a team that didn't have a return in 31 years. Special teams. There's a lot of ways to win.
Cancer survivor, very strong-minded man, very talented coach, special teams coach. We mentioned the 16th kickoff return under his tutelage with the Jets. The Jets, who have gone deep in the bag of tricks, trying to find anything to create an advantage. Go back to something they've counted on for a while. The onside kick, look here for the Jets. They try it, and going up to get it is Shillings. It's free on the ground. And it looks like Houston got a hand on it. Now let's see what happens at the bottom of the pile.
I think the Houston Texans got this, but you could almost feel it coming.
Still pulling off the bottom of the pile. We have not seen an official signal either way. You see the Jets retreating over there.
Chaz Shillings, 85, had a chance to catch this ball. Watch it. Folk did a great job getting this ball up. And 85 Shillings is going to play it at a high point. Got to make that play. It was there.
There is no foul for illegal touch. The ball did go 10 yards. Also, please set the game clock to 4:33. Thank you.
Shiloh Kao, 31, down there on the bottom of the pile, had it, and then Ballore came in to try to dig it out. And all the pushing and pulling and prodding happens at the bottom. But it's Houston ball with great field position at the 44-yard line. So the Jets hit a wild one on the kickoff return, try to double their money with the onside kick. Shaw, play action. Set up the screen. Here is James Casey. Got a good block from his center, Chris Myers, and Casey inside the red zone to the 16-yard line, 30 on the game.
That is a beautiful screen. You get the running game going. You get the play action passing game going. Why not fake it to Arian Foster and bring the Jets with you and run a screen back to number 86, James Casey. Well executed on the perimeter. Caldwell, Myers get good blocks. And Casey continues to show off his versatility.
Jets struggling with their run defense and play action destroying them here tonight, as per usual with Schaub and his Texans offense. Arian Foster inside the 10, gets to the 7. So, as you mentioned, John, right from the start, this is a Jets team that lost 34-0. So you kind of got to throw them all on the table and go all in to try to beat an undefeated quality team. So they've gone to everything, 20-14. They've tried to capitalize on the momentum with an onside kick. The problem is when one of those gambles doesn't pay off, that's a good defense or a good offense. Your defense has to stop.
No question about it, Mike.
Second and 2. Here's Foster cutting back. And mark with the 6, which should be enough for the first down. Let's see where the spot comes.
It was fun to watch on this Texan team as their center. Chris Myers, 2 plays ago. How about this athleticism? How many guys can snatch the ball to the quarterback and reach a shaded nose that weighs 360 pounds. This Chris Myers has explosive, fast twitch movement. 31 years old, he's done it a long time. Not many guys at that position can snap the ball and reach a nose tackle in the far gap. He does a great job week in and week out.
They were just shy. It's 3rd and inches, and Foster seeking space. That spot close to the 5. Looks like that one for sure will be the first down. The headlines from the line judge running.
And that time it's mano-a-mano right there. It's Myers against Kendrick Ellis in a one-on-one drive block situation, and they're going to hand the ball to Arian Foster right behind that block.
See David Harris, he kind of peeked in that gap, filling it in that opening, and then just a little move by Foster got him out of there, got the first down. 1st and goal, Houston. Can the Jets defense come up with a big play?
One-on-one to Andre.
Foster slips and falls. No gain, 2nd and goal.
Andre Johnson rarely gets one-on-one tight coverage in the scoring zone. For years, he has dominated every corner he's played. Quarterbacks just pick the ball up and throw it to the outside. It'll be interesting to see if the Texans get the same coverage and try Antonio Cromartie with Andre the Great. And awful quiet tonight. Just one catch. That was against the zone coverage. Cromartie has really stepped up, played well tonight.
They're going to have to take another timeout. They are having a real problem with communication with the headsets. And Matt Schaub and Gary Kubiak are very frustrated by it. Once again, trying to get the play going. It's not going in. Schaub's not hearing it. 3rd time tonight, Houston's had to burn a timeout for that reason. Texans leading by 6. First timeout they've had to use in the second half, just like the 2 in the first half. Play call not being communicated. It's not a case of a mistake by Kubiak not being able to get it in. It's just a mechanical misfailure with the headset and the speaker in the helmet. 2nd and goal. It's play action. Schaub. First look is covered. Throws it out of the back of the end zone.
Well, Schaub saw what we saw. One-on-one coverage. Let's fake the ball to the tailback, eliminate the linebackers, and throw the ball to Andre Johnson. One-on-one coverage. That's about as good as it can get. Cromartie's played great tonight. I saw him last year take on Randy Moss. This year he's taken on Andre Johnson. He stepped his game up tonight. Big 3rd down.
3rd and goal. Johnson's with Walter, bottom of your screen. They'll run with Foster, trying to bounce it. Not going to get there, so the Jets defense stands up on 1st and goal. And the Texans are trying to extend the lead to 9 with a field goal attempt. But it really felt like a punch to the gut for the Jets after you get that kickoff return, and then Houston gets the onside kick and walk right back and get a touchdown. Instead, Graham will go for his 3rd field goal in as many Houston drives. From 22. Adds to his 42 and his 27-yarder. It's 23-14 Texans. Houston 23, Jets 14.
Well, it's a 9-point game, but the Jets have had their chances tonight. They've missed on some opportunities in the first half. Sanchez, they insert Antonio Cromartie at wide receiver. He runs a double move. He beats Jonathan Joseph, and the ball just travels out of bounds. You got to hit these wide open throws. And then down in the red zone right before the half, J.J. Watt. You think inches don't matter? That tip pass and deflection results in a Bryce McCain interception. And just now, Chaz Schillings has to go up and make that play on the ball. 3 missed opportunities. We'll see what the Jets have left.
And again, it's a Jets team that's shorthanded. Dustin Keller, their tight end. Santonio Holmes. Stephen Hill, their wide receivers out. Holmes for the season. They hope to get Keller and Hill back next week. And how big a loss is Keller for this Jets team?
Well, he's their leading receiver 2 years in a row, and he's also a threat He can line up in any different kind of formation. He can beat safeties and linebackers. Very versatile player, Dustin Keller is. Productive, and he's Mark Sanchez's favorite target. Hard to replace productive pro tight ends.
Now they put Cromartie back. His kickoff is a shorter one. Who's going to field it? It was taken by Eric Smith, the safety, at the 15, and Smith returns it out to the 28-yard line. But even in this era with the kickoff at the 35-yard line, a good returner can get the job done for you. And how about that? Never thought after he went off in a cart we'd see Nick Mangold back for the Jets.
He's genetically different than most people. Mentally tough, physically tough, talented. He knows the Jets need him.
The Jets last ran an offensive snap back at the 13-minute mark of this quarter. Texans had the long drive and then the kickoff return, so it gave them time to get back. Mangold with that injury to his ankle. The 28, and on first down, Sanchez. Throws complete to Jeff Cumberland, the tight end across midfield. And to the Texans 48, and that brings the third quarter to an end. It's trying to mount a drive, down 9 against the undefeated Texans. Green Bay and Baltimore are the next matchups for the Houston Texans. And those questioning the 4-0 start against Miami and Jacksonville and Denver and Tennessee. Tonight here against the Jets, we're learning more about the Texans, a team you'll see a lot over the next couple of months. Houston a quarter away from getting to 5-0. The Jets trying to get to 3-2. 9-point game as we start the fourth. Houston territory, handoff to Sean Green, as has been often in this game. Little gain.
You run the ball at J.J. Watt, you're probably not going to gain very many yards. Again, second-year man J.J. Watt just snatches the right tackle, dislodges, and makes the tackle. Austin Howard has had his hands full all night.
The 7 carries, 14 yards on the night for Green. He's averaging under 3 yards per carry. Movement on the Jet side.
Jason Hill, number 89, jump wide receiver at the top.
False start. Offense, number 89. 5-yard penalty. Second down.
Long drives by Houston. The kickoff return by the Jets meant it was a very lopsided quarter in terms of ball control. 20 of the 24 plays run by the Texans. And Tim Tebow, his last snap was at the 11-minute mark in the second quarter. Only 4 offensive snaps for Tebow in the game. Sanchez has to step up. Open is Curley. Jeremy Curley hangs on at the 16.
Jeremy Curley beat Jonathan Joseph bad. Blitz by the Texans. They're saying, hey, we have the corners to cover these unknown wide receivers. Jets do a great job picking up the blitz, and Sanchez has a wide open Jeremy Curley. Take a look at Joseph. He slips and falls. Great release by Curley, and Tebow is in the ball game.
Gain of 36. Curley went to the sideline after being hit there. Jets have had confusion. They brought in Tebow. Sanchez went out. They're going to have to take a timeout. Second 36-yard reception by Curley gets to the red zone. Jets can't capitalize on the momentum for the moment. Statue of Liberty, Freedom Towers going up there in Lower Manhattan in our aerial coverage. Brought to you by DirecTV. Jets just burned their first time out of this second half. They were confused with Tim Tebow and Mark Sanchez both on the field. And they remain that way with Sanchez bottom of the screen as a receiver. And Tebow keeping on the run. Tebow at the 10. J.J. Watt spins him down at the 3. First down, Tebow.
I've been waiting all night for this Tim Tebow. Little read option. Give it to him again. I love it. This ought to be the best plus 10 red zone quarterback in football. One-back power play, and Tebow's the one-back. Well done.
And they go no huddle, try to keep the Texans out there. Tebow again, that time Houston waiting for it. And Tim Dobbins in for the injured Brian Cushing. Hurt his knee in the first half, makes the tackle.
And Tim Tebow, at the University of Florida and last year in Denver, most effective in the scoring zone. You can run direct snap shotgun plays with Tebow as the tailback. Off he goes to the crowd's dismay here.
They have only had Tebow on the field for 3 consecutive plays once this year. The only 3 plays that he had in week 2. That was the 5th time he's been up for back-to-back plays. It's now 2nd and goal for Sanchez. And Mark throws deflected. J.J. Watt again. 2nd time tonight. 7th on the year.
And Schillings was wide open in the back of the end zone. He's as productive as any cornerback in the National Football League. Bunch formation. I believe you're going to see Schillings show up right here wide open, and J.J. Watt, watch him jump up, time it perfectly. That was going to be an easy touchdown for the Jets.
We showed you the math before of his leaping ability, his vertical, the size of his hands. He says, all I do is I watch the quarterback's arm. Sounds very simple. He's ready to cock and fire. I jump and block. 3rd and goal. Play clock running down. Extra lineman into block. Sanchez. End zone. Incomplete for Schillings. Blanketed by Kareem Jackson.
Kareem Jackson dominating Schillings in that situation. Take a look at it. Schillings is going to work the end line on a little swirl route there, and I just think Kareem Jackson's come on, but Schillings, he hasn't been able to deliver as a pass receiver.
There's receivers playing on this team who were unwanted and waived in Oakland and Jacksonville. Not exactly offensive juggernauts. Nick Folk to make it a 6-point game. 23-17. The Jets get the momentum as they go down the field. A couple of big completions, one with Curley. Tebow, a good show in the red zone, but they're stopped on that drive. 11th pick of the 2011 draft in his 2nd year, J.J. Watt came into the week leading in sacks in the NFL. He's a half sack behind that lead right now, but his impact on the game, 2 more passes knocked down, 7 for the year. John, the player who led that category last year, defensive lineman Greg Hardy from Carolina, had 10 for the whole season. Watt has 7 in almost 5 games. A huge impact. A few yards deep, Trendon Holiday going to take it out. And Holiday stopped in special teams coverage by Lex Hilliard, who's only been a Jet for a week back at the 11th. Watt's impact, you talked about it all week to us, how extraordinary it's been here in year 2.
Well, they call him the milkman because he's from Wisconsin, and the milkman always delivers. But after studying him, he reminds me of Warren Sapp as an inside pass rusher. That's how productive he is. He's instinctive, he's smart, he's athletic, he plays with leverage. And Reggie White, as a defensive end, played this way. He had this ability to just dominate a game at the point of attack and run over you as a pass rusher. These are qualities that J.J. Watt has. He's a great young player.
Put that on display again here tonight from the 11. Schaub just screening out. What a catch by Foster. He went up with the right hand and snatched it. It was floated over Muhammad Wilkerson. The flag.
Take a look at the batted down ball. You're going to see a wide open receiver. Schillings in the end zone. It's going to be a slam dunk touchdown, and J.J. Watt says not tonight. And it's not just time in the jump. It's tremendous instincts and fast twitch athletic ability. 7 block passes in 5 games. 3 of them have been intercepted.
Flag on that last play, an eligible man downfield. So that's a great catch by Foster. Negated as one of the linemen got just a little more than a yard. If you're within a yard, they'll let you get by without throwing a flag, but one was too far down. So 1st and 15, and Foster. That was Kendrick Ellis, the Jets' 3rd round pick out of 2011. With the first hands on Foster, and that's the guy, one of them, John, you said needs to start making some plays here for New York.
I think all these young Jets do. You know, Kendrick Ellis replaces a guy that was a great Ellis named Sean Ellis. Chris Jenkins was here. Sione Buha not playing tonight. These are high draft choices. Copels, Wilkerson, Ellis, the future of the Jets. Game on the line.
Comes pressure. It's picked up. Bart Scott can't get there. Nothing open for Shaw. He's looking. He's got a ton of time. Scott chasing him. He throws it away incomplete. It'll be 3rd and 11. Big down coming up here for this Jets defense and the Texans.
Credit this New York Jets secondary for plastering and maintaining their coverage. Down the field on Walter. Owen Daniels. Nowhere to go. Cromartie all over Andre Johnson. A lot of contributors tonight in this Jets secondary. New York must find a pass rush.
And they're going to run it with Foster. Good job to stop him. And force 4th down. Calvin Pace, the 10-year veteran, made the play.
Really impressed with this New York Jet football team. Just an inside draw. Just good physical football. Wade Smith at left guard. Dwayne Brown at left tackle. At the point of attack, stunt by the Jets. Good defense by New York.
Jeremy Curley back with a Donnie Jones punt. High, fair catch called for. The 7-yard kick that Curley got run into by his own man Alan Ball, knocking Jet, who was only here for a week, Aaron Berry, back into the return man. Well, for all their struggles, the Jets have a chance to take the lead. Under 10 minutes left. 23-17. They made a habit of digging out of big holes. The Chargers tried to come back in New Orleans and couldn't. We'll see those two teams at the top of the AFC West next Monday night, 8:30 Eastern from San Diego. Antonio Cromartie in the game on offense with the second snap tonight. It's a running play, and it's Sean Green breaking free for the first time. Dozen yards on the run and a first down for Green, who only had 14 rushing yards to that point.
That's a good cutback run. Watch Sean Green start to his left, cut back to his right, and watch him finish this run. What a way to lower your pads and finish a run. Excellent job by Sean Green running over Glover Quinn.
Jets talked throughout the offseason of getting back to being ground and pound. Let's be the best ground and pound team out there. Well, they haven't run it well thus far this year, and tonight only 19 carries for 57 yards. Sanchez spreads out. It's McKnight to take a little wildcat snap. Brooks Reed had him, lost him. Glover Quinn finished him. Loss of 9.
Trickery. Direct snap. They're going to try to run a bunch crunch to the bunch side. And you're going to see wide receivers trying to block the edge, but they don't get Brooks Reed, number 58, who splits the tackle and Chaz Schillings at the point of attack. That's the second big play for Brooks Reed tonight. Second-year man out of Arizona.
Officially, the loss is 8. Probably you kind of run those tricks and then go say Sanchez will get second at 18 with a blitz coming at you. They got a screen that beats a blitz, and there goes Sean Green. First down Jets at the 35-yard line.
That's a great call by Tony Sperano. He had an all-out blitz. Here comes a screen pass. Mark Sanchez invites the blitz. Retreat, retreat. He sees Sean Green, and there's nobody left but Daniel Manning. He had to come from free safety to get there, but Sean Green is lowering the boom on Houston Texans. He's fresh. He's hungry. I'd give it to him again.
The Jets have such confusion on offense right now. They got 12 guys in the huddle, then 10 as you watch Green finish this play. The play isn't in. The right personnel isn't in. The play clock's at 5, and they're going to have to take a timeout. That is the second time that poor execution of getting personnel and plays in there have forced the Jets to take a timeout. Down 6.
What's up, Stuart Scott with you, Sports Center after the game. The GMC postgame report highlights and analysis of what has turned out to be a very competitive game. Best plays from Week 5 in the NFL, plus Orioles trying to even up their series with the Yankees at a game apiece. We'll have highlights that too, a close game. And Mike, I got my gloves on. It's a little cold out here.
It is cool. It's one of those cool nights. Tim Tebow, no need for gloves or anything else, but Tim is in the game looking at the play sheet. They've got 20 plays on his sheet, a bit more on Mark Sanchez's wrist.
He will throw the ball.
He did earlier. It was incomplete from the 35. Running option, keeping option. Wrapped up and thrown down by Connor Barwin. Minimal gain. Talked about Tebow and how much of a Tebow package is there. There it is before the game. It's the entirety on the wrist there of Tebow.
A lot of room left there for some more plays.
It's under construction there in the white space.
Well, they ran a speed option that time. Now it's 2nd and 9. Sanchez is back.
On 2nd and 10. First look is covered. Comes back underneath. It's deflected in the air. But incomplete. Sean Green reaching back for it. Got hit by Tim Dobbins. And John mentioned earlier with Brian Cushing out with that left knee injury. Dobbins has seen more time. He's a captain because of his special teams play.
And Mark Sanchez loves looking for Cumberland down the seam. He loves to pump the free safety. That time, Houston did a nice job, forced him to get to his check down receiver. And this is where the Jets have to be careful. The Houston Texans have 4 outstanding pass rushers. They're dominant inside. Barwin at the bottom of the screen, Reed at the top.
The Jets again, 6 offensive linemen to protect. Sanchez plunges the punt. What a play by Watt. J.J. Watt reached out, brought him down. 8.5 sacks, likely out of field goal range.
Best inside pass rusher in football. I agree with Wade Phillips. He is a Hall of Fame candidate. One-on-one with Brandon Moore. Beats him with speed to the outside.
Wow.
Man, can he close at the corner. Effort, intensity, all that, but rare athletic ability and stamina for a big man.
4th and 15. Tebow, the personal protector. It's a snap back to the punter, Malone. And fair car by Trindon Holiday at the 15 with 6:29 to go. I mentioned Watt now has the NFL sack lead with 8.5. Wade Phillips has coached NFL sack leaders like Reggie, who you talked about before. Bryce Popp had that great year in Buffalo in '95. Sean Merriman a decade later when Phillips was with the Chargers, and when he was the head coach of the Dallas Cowboys. DeMarcus Ware paced the league in sacks in 08 and 10. And J.J. Watt on that last snap took away the sack lead. 8.5 now. Clay Matthews got to 8 with his sack for Green Bay yesterday. Flag thrown. I think the Jets have too many defenders out there, and the snap was imminent.
12 men on defense. 5-yard penalty.
Both sides of the ball, Jets have had trouble getting the proper people on the field. And it's Arian Foster time, just outside the 4-minute drill. This is where Arian Foster has closed teams out.
Foster's run for 136 on the ground tonight. Add a dozen. He's up to 148. He had 99 yards, he had 100 yards in the first half. That was the first time in his career he's had 100 yards rushing in a first half in his career.
It's a power play to the left side, and the great football teams can throw the ball, but they can put you away with a running game. This time they pull the guard and backside tight end, Owen Daniels. Very well conceived running game. They can come at you a lot of different ways.
From the 32, here is Foster again. That's 8 to the 40. And so that puts Arian Foster in some good company, as he has over 5,000 yards from scrimmage in his career. There's an injured Jet on the far side as the clock is stopped here with 5:32 to go. And we'll step out. Texans up 6. Foster, when undrafted, although a productive career out of Tennessee, didn't play much in his first year, but has really turned it on the last 3. The result, add tonight's numbers to the prior, and Arian Foster has reached 5,000 yards from scrimmage in 40 games. Only Edgerrin James and Eric Dickerson getting off to career starts like that in yards from scrimmage.
Keep giving him the ball. That's what Gary Kubiak said. He's averaging 25 carries a game. He's on pace for almost 425 carries. He can handle the load. That's what Gary Kubiak said. He gets his break in practice. He's on a special diet now. When he's feeling it, I'm giving him the ball. He makes us go.
Foster has gone vegan for his diet. He feels good, feels like he can be a 3-down back and be a complete running back, which he takes great pride in. Kenrick Ellis, the Jets' nose tackle, was helped off the field, favoring his left leg. Another injury for New York as we get to the 5-minute mark. It's Foster, who's tripped up. Been close to, but shy of the first down. We'll have a big 3rd down coming up. 3rd and short.
3rd down and 1, and you see Gary Kubiak dialing up running plays to the left. That's where Dwayne Brown is. Outstanding left tackle. That's where Wade Smith is. Veteran left guard. Don't be surprised if they pound this ball again, but behind their 2 veterans on that left side.
Number 71, Damon Harrison, out of William Penn College in Des Moines, Iowa, in there on that Jets defensive line. Big guy on the nose. Trying to stop 3rd and 1. Foster, and a lot of people there. Let's see where the spot comes. Because Harrison was the one who got a little bit of that push, John. And it looks like he's short of that 1st down.
It's like he is. Jets knew it was coming. They read their scouting report. It's coming behind Dwayne Brown and Wade Smith. Watch Pace. Watch Wilkerson. They win with their pad level.
71 got over there, and they couldn't push past that big guy. 350 pounds.
Damon Harrison, a rookie from William Penn, Mike, filling in a key short yardage situation. Let's see the measurement.
Short. So the Texans, who have not been in a close game in the first 4 games this year, will bring the punting unit on with 4:07 to go.
And Gary Kubiak's going to trust his defense. Remember those burn timeouts, Mike. They could come into play. Plenty of time. I think this is the right move by Gary Kubiak.
Jeremy Curley goes back for the Donnie Jones punt. Texans players out there looking over the sideline. The sideline was waving off. Smartly so, letting the time run down because it was a measurement after a running play. The game clock was running down, so they're just going to take off as much time as possible. And the Jets, without those timeouts, can't use one to preserve it, so let it get all the way down before Jones kicks. Good hang time, and Curley will have to fair catch it again at the 15-yard line. So 1 timeout, 3:28. Down 6. Here come the Jets.
And you almost have to treat this, Mike, like it's 4-down territory because you only have 1 timeout left. Unless you have, obviously, 2 or 3 quick incomplete passes. But there is time to run the football. You don't need to put yourself in a crisis 2-minute situation. Plenty of time left with the 2-minute clock stoppage and a timeout. Once again, it's this dime pass rush of the Texans that have given everyone fits.
Jeremy Curley is bottom of the screen. Chaz Schillens up there in the slot with Jason Hill. Those are the only 3 healthy receivers right now for the Jets. It begins with a run. It's Bilal Powell getting 8 as he headed out to the sideline to kill the clock at 3:22.
Well, screens and draws. That's one way to slow a pass rush down. That time, Bilal Powell ran right by Watt and Antonio Smith, who were jetting up the field. Here it comes. This is an amazing substitution pattern. Here's Tebow and Cromartie. Tony Sperano's using every available jet on the roster.
Yeah, but
they
look at
gotta
the play
hurry.
clock, John. There's 15 on the clock, and we don't even have a huddle yet with these guys, and this is the third time it's happened this half.
Gotta hurry. Jason Hill at the bottom of the screen. He just got here as well. 4 seconds.
Cromartie comes in motion. I'm sure he's done that a lot. Deflected and incomplete. That time it was 98, not Watt, but Connor Barwin who got up there to knock it away from going to Cromartie.
Let's see if we can get this substitution. Here comes Jason Smith now. Here's a tackle playing tight end. Lex Hilliard's the fullback walking on, jogging on. He just got here as well. That ball almost intercepted on the bubble screen to Cromartie.
Third and 2 with only one timeout left for the Jets. Sanchez looking to throw, and it's caught by Curley at the 30. First down. Second year out of TCU at 5'9". Jeremy Curley's become an essential part of this Jets offense.
Hard to call plays if you're a New York Jet right now. You don't really know who's coming and going. Cumberland has just checked back into the game at tight end. Now they're back to their spread formation. Curley's the guy you want to get the ball to if you're a Jet.
Sanchez gets it out of his hands quick. It's caught at the 40 by Jason Hill. Hill's the player who, when he was playing the Jets, questioned how great Revis was. Said the whole team was overhyped. Revis was just a good player, and when Jacksonville came to town, Hill was inactive that week. Never got to go up against him. Now he's a Jet. Tumbling down toward the 2-minute warning. Sanchez throws incomplete for Curley. Covered by the nickel man, Bryce McCain.
And at a clock stoppage now, defensive coordinator Wade Phillips been known to dial up the pressure. If you're in the huddle with the Jets, you have to have a blitz protection ready to go. At crunch time over the years, Wade Phillips loves to trust his pressure-packed calls. He'll put these corners in one-on-one situations, won't think about it.
They don't have the extra offensive linemen to protect. Just 5 O-linemen here. They've been going with 6 often tonight. Second and 10. Here comes the pressure. McCain off the corner. Gets Sanchez to the sack like you talked about, John. Good call.
That's creativity, too. It's not just unleashing 4 real good pass rushers. It's line up in a double-A gap blitz, bring one, and bring the edge in McCain, and it's unaccounted for. Great execution by the Texan defense.
2-minute warning coming. Will they sneak the play in before? Yes, they will. It's third and long, and the throw to Cumberland is off the tight end's hands and intercepted by Kareem Jackson. Jackson, who took one back last week against Tennessee, goes down at the 41. Game not done just yet, but the Jets in deep trouble.
Oh, you want to get half of it back. Tip passes in the middle of the field. Will end your night.
Under 50% completions for Mark Sanchez, and his interceptions were both deflections. That one virtually sealing this game.
Well, you just get to see Cumberland run a deep out, and the ball is thrown high into the outside. I don't know that Cumberland went a little too deep. Could have been caught, but tip balls against zone defenses in the middle of the field usually result in bad things happening. But I go back to not having Dustin Keller here. And the sack by Bryce McCain that put him way behind in the down and distance. You have to tip your hat to Wade Phillips' Texan defense. And Gary Kubiak punting the ball, trusting that his defense would get it done.
Which is something Houston didn't have in its arsenal in the past. With 1:51 and 1 timeout left, Jets' best case scenario could be, unless Houston messes it up, to get the ball back with 8 seconds left. Up the middle there, and the Jets use their final timeout as Foster carries with 1:44 to go. We're talking about Wade Phillips coming in 2 years ago. This is how bad it was for this team. They were at a bottom 3 or 4 in almost every significant defensive category. Then Phillips comes in. Remember, he was fired mid-year in 2010 by Dallas. Comes in over the last 2 years, and it's these 20 games are a top 3 defense in the significant stats.
Let's put J.J. Watt in that picture, too.
Yeah,
Phillips came with J.J. Watt. But J.J. Watt has ruined this game tonight for the Jets. Ruined it. He sacked the quarterback. He tipped 2 passes. One of them resulted in an interception. The other one denied a wide-open touchdown down here. The kid's for real.
Let's talk about the math for that for a second, because that tip that led to the interception, Jets are going in for 3 or 7. Houston gets a field goal before the half. And then you talk about the sack that he had earlier. That stops the Jets from being in field goal range here in this fourth quarter. You're talking 13, maybe 15, 16-point impact those Watt plays had. Out of timeouts, 1:44 to go. And it is Foster just running time and seeking space. Houston not in a position where they could just kneel down and end the game. That's why they were running these plays.
And this would be the first win for the Houston Texans against the New York Jets. Had an 0-5 franchise record. Matt Schaub continues to eliminate the demons. This would be his 9th straight victory as a quarterback of the Houston Texans. That's the longest streak of any quarterback in pro football. Ball security is a must here for Houston.
Back to Foster. Bart Scott running through. Tackled at 58. That restarts the play clock, which means the play clock will run out with 18 seconds left. Houston has 2 timeouts left, so Schaub's just checking with Kubiak, see if he wants to take it all the way down and take the timeout.
And if you look over, Mike, on the Jets sideline, Mike Westhoff has to have some type of a desperation block. They've already faked the punt. They've tried a surprise onside kick. Let's see what other tricks Mike Westhoff has in his bag.
GMC postgame report, John, coming up. Stuart Scott, Steve Young, Trent Dilfer here. Everybody back in the studio. What's coming up next? Well, we have 1 second before we go. We saw the news here earlier this evening that Alex Karras is in very poor health. Terrific part of the NFL during his days with Detroit. And, one of the less than 24 folks to be in the Monday Night Football booth, 74 through 76. We wish good thoughts to Alex and his family as he's struggling with his health here tonight.
He was a great one.
Well, 17 seconds left. Jeremy Curley goes back in punt formation. He's back at the 30. Jets are putting nobody back. They're just going to come after the ball here, bring 9 after it. The flag is down as Jones gets the punt away with no Jet back to touch it. It'll be down here by the Texans. This is smart. They tell them not to touch it as the clock runs down to 5 seconds. And we have a whistle back here at the line of scrimmage.
Maybe a re-kick here. I'm not sure if Bryce McCain wasn't moving.
Illegal motion on the offense.
You know, when you're a gunner on the outside and you're defender.
The penalty will be enforced at the previous spot. 5 yards, 4th down.
Starts to creep in there. Sometimes you want to get into a danger punt situation and pack everybody in. Distance on this punt doesn't matter.
I mean, you have very few chances here with the Jets, and by accepting that penalty, the clock doesn't reset on that foul. So it would behoove from a general rules position to have a clock reset when the offense commits a foul there on 4th down. The Jets' best move here would be to take the ball back there with only 4 seconds left. You've got almost no chance of winning the game, but if you can get a crazy play going, it's your best chance.
Correction. The 5-yard penalty will be enforced from the end of the kick. 1st down.
Otherwise, Houston would be able to just drop back and throw the ball out of the field of play. So at least the Jets have one desperation play.
Joe, practice this play, this little Stanford cow, whatever you want to call it. You ever practice This play, how often do teams practice
Well,
this?
you usually walk through it, jog through it at the end of the week. You don't want to get guys hurt. You know what I mean? You get balls tipped around.
Best I understand, Golden Tate is not going to the end zone to the left. We don't have the replacement official down there. I don't see, you know, if you're in a position to need a miracle,
Got to get the
Tebow
play
should be on the
started.
field. Tebow's not out there.
Just get the play started and see what happens.
I would put Tebow out there. He's your best option quarterback, throwing it across the field. So here we go. Sanchez will throw it. And what else is new? It's knocked down by J.J. Watt to end the game. How appropriate is that?
J.J. Swat. That should be his name. I tell you what.
That is his third of the night.
You can't try and throw it over my head.
No, you can't. That is his 8th on the season, and the Texans join the Atlanta Falcons as the only undefeated teams in the NFL at 5-0, and their schedule gets tougher the next 2 weeks. They've got Green Bay and Baltimore back home, that great atmosphere at Reliance Stadium. The Jets fall to 2-3, and they take on the inspired Indianapolis Colts here on Sunday. With John Gruden, Lisa Salters, our entire Monday Night team, Mike Tirico, good night from the Meadowlands. See you next week with the Chargers and the Broncos. See you on SportsCenter next.